101 mobile telephone line in Egypt. So everybody's holding more than a telephone line. This is, I call it, normal evolution of things. Now you want to take us to an era where we leave the trend and go out of it.
I don't want anything, but let me point out to you that 10,000 years from now, or even 1,000, or even 500 years from now, what we consider going up, they might consider going down. And furthermore, you know, what they measure might be completely different from what we measure. I don't have long continuity, and I'm very. But one of the main points, I think, also is to have a certain humility about our ability to actually intervene and to make changes. I mean, I think that the unintended consequences and the modesty often, I mean, climate change maybe aside, but even from the point of view of the planet, climate change, the planet could care less. And we're just a small species, and we may be gone in maybe a couple of centuries, maybe less. We might be gone in another 10,000 years.
No, I am not disputing our ability to make change. This is very good because we are ordered actually to make change. We have to make a change. But what we should also be on the what I'm saying is that we are only ordered, but we are forced sometimes to make a change. And we have to make a change. No way. We have to. But the changes we think are going to be for the better, not for the worse. Huh? Sometimes people do the contrary, but generally speaking, man wants to be better all the time. What I feel from this exercise we are trying to do now, we are not only trying to make changes, but we are trying to imagine extreme events in a way that might take us away from this whole human history. This is my opinion.
I'm going to try. I think we're almost at the end of the day today, and I do want us to get into the groups. If we can have 15 minutes in the groups and just do the waking up in 20, 45, 50 in a learning intensive society, just spend 15 minutes to do that. I think it'd be good before we take off and have a well-deserved relaxation.
30 seconds, if you could give that to me. And I want to support what you're saying. In fact, it's a very tough role you're playing. When I teach scenario planning at the university level, attempting to convince people to really have a point of reference that doesn't exist, which means you already have what you have is the two tyrannies. You know the past, you know the present, but your coming point of reference is almost unknown. How do you create scientifically a method, an approach, a way that will, to say what you're using, to say, to reframe, ou comme on appelle en français, recadrer, le recadrage. Comment créer un système de recadrage qui va vous permettre de travailler sur le futur pour un futur qui n'existe pas. Et voilà pourquoi je suis vraiment d'accord avec vous. I think you're right when you say I'm confused. Because for the most part, we are looking for a reference point to start with. So what your simple approach is to say, look, this is a crazy world. You can't set everything in stone. But the best reframing is perhaps a way to just forget what you know about. But then where do we start? So he makes a modest proposition that let's start with what we have now, and let's build on it going forward. That's the only thing I wanted to say. But let me go back very quickly on, if you took, for example, it's a bit of a strange place to take this example. If you take the Abrahamic religions, from Judaism to Christianity to Islam, each of the creator of a new reframing model was taken as a crazy person. So this is a bit of a crazy person you are. As a model on starting to look at the future in a way that could help us to understand the complexities, the new layers of meaning, identities, and spaces, especially about water and dwelling with slums in Africa.
Thank you, Kofi. But let me reinforce, I'm not trying to talk about a future. I'm trying to, I guess, to reframe the way we use the future. So it's relative to how we think about the future that I think we could do some reframing.
Okay, I like how Kofi actually tried to capture things. So I found something in what Kofi said that I can capture. Points of reference. Okay, so yes, I agree that we need to create a point of reference, but then what would be, it's virtually impossible to do that without really connecting with something in our own experience, our consciousness and our knowledge is connected to the past. It's coming from the past and the present. So
it has to exist, but things do get invented, like the word Google or the idea of atomic bomb or birth control pills. Things pop up and they change, and they're not perceived in advance, and they actually change pretty much everything you see. And let me just give you one example, okay, that happens to almost everybody in the room, I think. When you fall in love, the way you see the world changes. Because you see the future in a different way with that person, and therefore you see the present in a different way. It's just a small example. We continuously reframe, and the point that I'm making here about it is that we have our bets. We make our bets. So when you order something from a restaurant menu, you order a dish, and they deliver the dish, you've made your bet, you get your dish. But the question here about complexity is that that menu, it's always changing. There's always new things coming on it. And many of those things we don't know how to read. We don't even know how to see. And some of them on the menu we can invent. How do we get better at the search? How do we get better at creating the menu, not just making the choices on the menu? Okay. So, look, this is meant to be a learning process. Confusion is good. And so let's go into groups. You have 15, 20 minutes, and then there'll be a bus to take people to the hotel, and we'll reconvene at what time tomorrow morning?
9:30.
9:30. So please go into your groups, 15, 20 minutes, and then...
Sorry, before you leave, I guess, before we leave, I would give you the exact timing when we have to be down at the lobby tomorrow, because again, for transportation purposes.
Same time.
I'm not sure. We have to consult, so I'll get back to you as quickly as possible.
Yes, in your